The desert was silent except for the sound of a man fighting for breath. Blood dried in thin, dark lines across his bruised face, and every inhale through the oxygen mask felt like dragging air through broken glass. Petty Officer Ryan Cole, a Navy SEAL who had survived gunfire, explosions, and years of brutal combat, was now lying alone inside a temporary military medical tent, staring at the thin fabric ceiling above him and wondering if this was how his story would end. No team around him, no gun in his hand, no strength left in his body. Just silence, and the slow beeping of a monitor reminding him he was still barely alive. If you believe in kindness, loyalty, and second chances, take a moment right now to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share it with someone who loves powerful stories, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us why loyalty still matters in this world. Just hours earlier, Ryan had been leading a high-risk mission deep in hostile territory. The night had turned chaotic in seconds. An ambush. Explosions tearing through the sand. Gunfire echoing like thunder across the empty land. In the middle of it all was Titan, his military K-9 partner, a powerful German shepherd trained for detection, tracking, and protection. Titan wasn't just equipment. He wasn't just a tool of war. He was Ryan's shadow, his shield, his silent guardian. When the explosion hit, it knocked Ryan off his feet and sent shrapnel tearing into his side. The impact left his ears ringing and his vision blurred. Through smoke and sand, he remembered one final image before losing consciousness, Titan charging toward him, barking fiercely, standing over his fallen handler as bullets kicked up dust around them. By the time Ryan woke up, he was already inside the field tent. The mission had been extracted. The team had been moved. And Titan was gone. The medic had told him Titan had disappeared during the chaos. No one knew if the dog had been injured, captured, or killed. The words hit harder than the shrapnel ever could. Ryan had faced death before without fear, but the thought of Titan alone in enemy territory tore something open inside him. That dog had saved his life more times than he could count. Now Ryan couldn't even stand up to look for him. Days passed in a blur of painkillers and restless sleep. Infection threatened his wounds. His breathing remained shallow, the oxygen mask fogging with every weak exhale. At night, the silence became unbearable. He replayed the mission over and over in his mind, seeing Titan's final charge again and again. Guilt settled heavily in his chest. A Navy SEAL was trained to never leave a teammate behind. Yet here he was, alive, while his partner was missing. Outside the tent, life moved on. Helicopters landed and lifted off. Boots pounded against sand. Orders were shouted. Inside, Ryan felt forgotten, trapped in a body that no longer obeyed him. The strongest warrior in his unit was now unable to sit up without assistance. His muscles had withered, his skin pale beneath dried blood and bruises. The doctors weren't sure if he would fully recover. Some quietly doubted he would return to active duty. One late afternoon, as the sun dipped low and cast a dull orange glow through the tent's open flap, something shifted in the air. Ryan lay half awake, drifting in and out of consciousness, when he felt a weight press gently against his side. At first, he thought he was dreaming. The warmth was familiar. The scent, dust, fur, and something uniquely comforting, sent a shock through his fading senses. Slowly, painfully, he opened his eyes. Titan was there, dirty, exhausted. A thin cut ran along the dog's ear, and his paws were scraped raw from miles of relentless running. But he was alive. His deep brown eyes locked onto Ryan's, filled with an emotion so pure it broke through every wall Ryan had built around himself. Titan had found his way back across miles of dangerous terrain, navigating gunfire, darkness, and chaos, driven by nothing but instinct and loyalty. The medical staff rushed in, stunned at the sight of the K9 who had been presumed lost. But Titan ignored everyone else. He carefully climbed onto the narrow cot, resting his head against Ryan's chest, just as he had done after long training days back home. A low whimper escaped him, not of pain, but of relief. For the first time since the explosion, Ryan's breathing steadied. His trembling hand lifted slowly, fingers burying into Titan's fur. The monitor beside him showed a subtle but undeniable change. His heart rate strengthened. His oxygen levels improved. The doctors would later say it was coincidence. That recovery sometimes comes in unpredictable waves. But Ryan knew the truth. Titan hadn't just returned. He had pulled him back from the edge. In the weeks that followed, Ryan's condition improved at a pace no one expected. Physical therapy was brutal. Every step felt like fire tearing through his side. But Titan stayed beside him during every session, sitting alert as Ryan forced himself upright, then took one painful step, then another. The bond between them became the silent force driving his recovery. Where medicine stabilized him, loyalty rebuilt him. Ryan eventually left the tent under his own power, one arm wrapped around Titan's neck for balance. The battlefield had nearly taken everything from him, his strength, his future, his will to fight. But it could not break the bond between a soldier and his K9. Before this story ends, take a moment to comment the word, loyalty, below. Let it stand as a reminder that true loyalty never abandons us, even in our darkest hour. Months later, when Ryan returned home, he did so not as a broken man, but as someone rebuilt by courage and unconditional love. Titan retired soon after, honored for his bravery. They would never forget the desert, the explosion, or the silence of that lonely tent. But what stayed with them most was the moment a dying Navy SEAL realized he was not alone after all. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and subscribe for more stories that remind us of the power of loyalty and love. Because sometimes, the ones who save us don't speak at all. They simply come back when we need them most.